Hi guys, this is Sierra Lopez. I am coming on here to do my teaching reflection for you guys. So I'm going to start and just kind of go in order as I labeled everything in my video. I kind of went a little overboard and did too many little tags, but that was before I saw the 10 mark requirement. So right at 20 seconds in my video, you can see that I'm going over my rules and expectations for my students. And I feel like this is one of my strengths because I'm creating a positive learning environment in my classroom and for my students. And I feel that this really sets them up for success. They love to go over the rules. It is the whole brain rule. So we do rule number 1, follow directions quickly. And they kind of mirror everything that I do and say, and they absolutely love this, even when we do OK Teach. So students teach each other. They love to use the whole brain activities that I use in my classroom. So I feel like that is one of my strengths for sure. Some of the things that went well in the lesson can be seen at 3 minutes and 39 seconds. And this is where, I'm going over my I can statement and my essential question. And my learning objective is, that we're going to be 80% mastery. And I'm just talking to my students about, what does that mean? And they're explaining to me that means that, they don't expect themselves to be perfect, but they want to obviously be able to show that they understand it. So I feel like just the fact that they are super engaged and positive about the challenges that they know that they might face and that they continue to work hard is something that went really well in my lesson and all throughout the lesson. One of the other things, I'm sorry, let me figure out how to pause this. Have you ever learned a story from any lesson? So one other thing that went really well in this lesson was just the students' engagement. I ask a lot of questions in my classroom, and I do a lot of pair share in my classroom. And my students have the best conversations. I love to walk around and engage in their conversations and sometimes just listen to their conversations. I can hear their thinking, and I can hear them really just diving into the content. And then another thing that I love is just the peer-to-peer engagement. They're learning and they're teaching each other, and that is just one of my favorite things in my classroom. And that can really be seen at 4 minutes, but really, again, all throughout, I do a lot of pair share and turn to your neighbor, elbow talk. So at 4 minutes and 2 seconds is where the lesson becomes culturally relevant. And I start out with my kind of hook and link just by asking the students to talk, at their table about a book that they've read or a story that they've read that they learned a theme from. And back in my contextual factors sheet, I talk about kind of making sure I focus on my students' interests when I plan my lessons. And I loved this part because when I was walking around, I heard a lot of students talk about Harry Potter. And some of them were talking about the themes that they learned about being friends and having strong friendships and not giving up and things like that. And I felt like that this just really connected and became culturally relevant as it just kind of intertwined their interests with what they were learning. And I love that they can enjoy learning by using their interest and tie it into the lesson. Okay, so at 5 minutes and 13 seconds, you can see one of my weaknesses. And that is where I really need to work on my feedback. I'm one of those, okay, great, or perfect, or that was good, teacher, and good job. And I'm just too general with my feedback. So I really need to work on being more intentional and more specific in my feedback. So that is one of my weaknesses. One strength, however, that I have is that I feel like I ask good questions that really get my students to think deeply, and that can be seen at 7 minutes and 19 seconds. I also often allot my kids thinking time, so I tell everybody, do not raise your hand right now. We're going to have 30 seconds to think about this before I call on anyone. And this just gives them time not to overthink it, and they get time to really let what I'm asking process. So I really like doing that. And then this goes in, okay, I put that was at the wrong spot, but it's actually at 15 minutes and 12 seconds. You can see that my students are listening to a book, okay, and they're listening to it on the computer or on the smart board off of YouTube, it's a read aloud. However, one thing that I would definitely change watching this video is I would have read the book myself. My students love to hear me read, and I feel like they were a little disengaged in this when they were watching this video. And I feel like even though I wanted to integrate some more technology in my lesson, I just feel like they would have gotten a lot more out of it and just engaged with it more had I read the book out loud. Okay, another one of my weaknesses is my closing activities. I'm currently making a list. I've been researching some closers that I really like and that I'm actually going to start implementing this week. But I'm really bad about pacing, and sometimes I run over time and I realize it's time to line up and change classes whenever I'm supposed to be doing my closer. So I have a very bad habit of that. And I know that closing activities are just so extremely important. So that's something that I'm definitely weak at, but I know I need to work at and will continue to work at. At 44 minutes and 6 seconds, you can see me doing my closing. And one of my goals for my future lesson is just to work on my pacing so that I can do better closing activities. I've read so much and done so much research on the importance of a good closer, and they're just so important in a lesson. And I really need to work on these and do a lot better on these. So that is basically my goal for my next lesson. So hopefully when you watch my next lesson, the closer will be the bomb. Okay. All right. Well, thank y'all so much. And that is it.